A very good morning to all my students and my friends and all who are listening. This is a morning telecast of my podcast related to one of the requests which is done and initiated by one of my friend whose name is Mr. Saurabh. Saurabh, this is for you. You have made a question in front of me and asked me to present my views on Make in India and deficit, that is trade deficit. So I'll go with point by point. First of all, let me just tell you, everyone, that I am not a financial analyst. I'm just a simple teacher, but I try to read various books. And if someone comes up with a query in front of me, my job is to solve that query, give him or her the proper answer about their questions. So let's start. I have taken some points to explain. If I am correct at any of the moment or any of the points, I in advance plea for a apology. Okay. So the impact of Make in India on the foreign direct investment is an analytical way. Let's understand into an analysis. What does the abstract says? Look, this is a term which was not used previously. India has now into a stage of 75 years of independence. And before this, we used to import various things like made in China, made in Taiwan, made in Malaysia, made in Indonesia, made in Singapore, made in Japan, and made in America. So all these things, when we used to bring, these were the imports. We need to sell or purchase them in the form of dollars, if I'm correct. Okay. So, Make in India is a term created by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the 25th of September 2014 to encourage the business all over the world to invest and manufacture their products in India. Look, India has been always into a situation in which India says if you want to do business in India, the only condition is that there will be a technological transfer to India. You cannot bring your product to India and sell them. You need to establish a particular setup in India for your productions, and you need to take the employees as the Indian citizens. You cannot hire the employees from your own country. This is a Make in India term. But in Make in India, you cannot invite every time the other companies from around the globe. They might be interested, they might not be interested. So you need to encourage your own people to set up that same facilities, that same type of structural, so that you can give a lot more jobs and opportunities to the people of India itself. This is the same technique which China has adapted 20 years back. Look, China says that it is the biggest arms supplier and developer, as well as it is, we can say that none of the product in this world, we can say that it cannot be made in China. We should appreciate that. We should not go against, because if any country is doing good, we should appreciate them. So the purpose for the research and the exam to impact of Make in India inflows the investigation pattern of Make in India that is followed by the FDI inflow. Look, one of my friend, that is Manish Jain, Abhishek Banjor, you are very good in terms of FDIs, Forex, investments. Look, I am not very good with that. So if you want to add some points, kindly tell me, so that in the next podcast, I will definitely add those points as a part 2 of this particular segment. I would really welcome, because whatever I'm trying to explain to my students, I would like you also to help me to explain them in depth. So the keywords which are used is Make in India. It is not made in India, it is Make in India. Look, the concept is a little bit different. It's not in made in China. Like China sells the product and says it is made in China. But if India makes a product and sells it to other countries, it says make in India. That's a little bit different, a little bit, I would say, thinking out of the box, making people realize of India that make in India means you are making in India. Made in India is somewhat like a person is using the past tense. Like we have already prepared it, it was not selling and we have sold you. You have purchased it, you have given us the money, that you have done a favor. No, we are saying that we deserve to get the money from you because we are providing you the best, which is make in India. Now, the concept of Make in India is a phrase coined by 25th September 2014 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And it was being a great impact that many of the companies in India have started their own business. By this business, the government has started recovering extra taxes. Those are known as GST. I would not go into depth of GST because GST is a term which cannot be explained in this one podcast. It needs several chapters regarding that because it's a very depth process. So I'm not a person from finance, so I cannot go into the depth of GST because there are various slabs regarding to various products. Now, what are the companion sectors in which Make in India is introduced or implemented? Let's talk about. We always say Make in India, but we exactly don't know what are the sectors. So my students, I would like to tell you that what are the centers and what are the sectors in which it has been implemented. First, aerospace and defense. You know that BrahMos missile is constructed in India and it is a joint venture between Russia and India. Right now, many radars are also being manufactured in India, and it's also a tie-up between Israel and India. Look, US is also tying up with us for GE engines, which will be helpful for our Tejas Mark 1. Second is automotive and auto components. No doubt, India is the biggest leader in automobiles and it has crossed Japan also. Right now, Tata. Tata is the biggest group, Tata Motors, Maruti. These are the segments which have been started in India. We can also term these segments as Make in India because Tata cars are manufactured in India. They are supplied all over the world. Now Tata is owning various brands like Jaguar. I don't know. Once Tata was not having all these things, but right now Tata rules the world. Maruti is the most genuine car, most family-oriented car in India. We will say Mahindra. Look, no doubt you use the tractors of John Deere or various other countries. Mahindra is still the best. It's easily accessible to Indians. Every part is available across India at any stores where tractors can be repaired. Then comes pharmaceuticals and medical drugs or devices. This is the biggest thing. India is the largest producer of chloroquine, which is a drug used in the treatment of malaria. India has a patent for that. No doubt, US may be technologically more developed than us, but they cannot make that particular tablet because they are not having patent. India is known as the biggest vaccine developer in the entire world right now since COVID. Then comes biotechnology. We are developing too much in biotechnology, capital goods, textiles and apparels, chemicals and petrochemicals, electronic systems, designs and manufacture ESDM. We called it as ESDM, leathers and footwear, food processing, gems and jewelry, shipping, railways, constructions, new and renewable source of energies. The service sectors under the Department of Commerce. Now, this is a section which can be explained only by a commerce person. I'm just giving you a small introduction regarding this. There is information technology and information technology enabled services, that is IT and ITS. Then tourism and hospitality services, medical value travel, transport and logistics services, accounting and financial services, audiovisual services, legal services, communication services, constructor and related engineering services, environmental services, financial services, and educational services. Initiative is the main goal to focus on job orientation and skill development of the people of India. Look, India is a country which has a lot of skill. Even Elon Musk and various other businessmen across the globe has said that 21st century belongs to India because India is having the largest population, which is the youngest population and can work hard. We have the biggest IITs. Our IITs are selected and their IITs are selected to all across the globe. People hire them on huge packages. We have great scientists. Now, if we say concept of FDI, why FDI was introduced? Look, we should actually thankful to one of the person, that is Dr. Manmohan Singh. Dr. Manmohan Singh has bought various projects, various types of activities which helped Indian economy to boost up. Once Indian economy was into a loss, this man made Indian economy a boom. Dr. Manmohan Singh introduced first time the foreign policy, the open gate foreign policy. He was the person who introduced the concept of GST. No doubt, in his term, when he was a prime minister, it was not introduced by his own government. But later on, the government, which is running right now for 10 years, it's completing 10 years, that has implemented GST. And thanks to Dr. Manmohan Singh, his visionary ideas that he made such a good thought that there should be one tax in across the country. There should be no variations. Now, FDI, I won't go into detail because this is not my subject, but I'm just giving you a proper thing that getting electricity, dealing with construction permits, starting a business, registering property, getting credit, protecting minority investors, paying taxes, trading across borders, enforcing contracts, reconciling and revolving of insolvencies and solvency margins, employing workers, introduction of international insurance policies and insurance companies who are getting tied up with Indian services as per IRD. So these were the regulations which helped India to turn into an import market to an export market. Now comes the trade deficit. That's a big question. Look, trading across the boundaries cannot be done by your own currency. You have to change the currency, or you need to deal with a similar currency which is running across the globe. Right now, many of the trade is still done in the form of dollars. No doubt America is the strongest economy in the entire world. It stands in rank number 1. But India is trying to establish a local currency as per BRICS to reduce the trade deficit of various countries like Brazil, Russia, India, China. Look, China is also facing the trade deficit. We are not the only country which is facing. Every country is facing because they are actually fighting against the dollars. Trade deficit means more imports and less exports. So we need to increase the exports and we have to reduce the imports. Then only the trade deficit can be balanced. It's a very simple term which is explained by Manish Jain. When we were having the WhatsApp chat, I was reading those chats and I was really impressed that my friend knows a lot of things and he has explained into a very simple way. He hasn't given any technicalities. He has just spoken in a layman language. And that is really good about him. That a very complex issue or a complex topic is explained into a very simple way. Now, resolving the insolvencies and reviewing the various literatures which have been initiated according to the guidelines of the India. Right now, India is facing a trade deficit. Even every country in the Asia is facing trade deficit. So it's not a big deal. If trade deficit is your problem, I must say, as per my analysis, that Make in India initiative in the next 10 years. Look, people are saying next 10 years are very important for India to become the developed country. It is true because Make in India will help to reduce the trade deficit. And reducing the trade deficit means more exports and less imports. Right now, India has decided that 80% of the arms spare parts will be developed by India itself. It won't be imported. These are some of the initiatives in which India is taking to reduce the trade deficit. The majority of our money goes in buying the oils, the crude oils, because we are not the producer of crude oils. My friends, try to understand this is the major reason for trade deficit. The other reasons are very minor and can be controlled, but this cannot be controlled. For this, the government has taken an initiative that till the year 2030 or maximum 2035, the entire Indian roads will be converted with electric cars and electric vehicles, so that we will be having less dependency of fuels and crude oils to those countries which are selling them in the amount in the form of dollars. So to avoid the devaluation of money and to increase the exports and reduce the trade deficit, we need to take an initiative of Make in India. My friend Saurabh, I cannot explain further regarding this because I am not having that much of sufficient knowledge. I am a science teacher, but still I tried to find various things. Even I took around 2 a.m. in the night to find all the things. And I hope that if anything I have left out or missed, that can be explained by Manish Jain and other friends in our group who are masters in finances. Apart from that science, I'm your guide. With this thought, everyone, all the students, all my friends, have a very nice day for today. Work hard, do good, and always believe that knowledge is never wasted. It's always used and utilized. The only way we can do is that we need to believe in ourselves. With this thought, I would like you to say, have a nice day to all. Bye bye.